All right, boys, what is good to the market recap for last week on Thursday and Friday? It's going to be December 18th and December 19th. I didn't put out those days. I was traveling, and then yesterday I put out a YouTube video. And yeah, blah, blah, blah. I know a whole bunch of excuses. Woo, woo. Before we get into it, do you guys know who Genghis Khan is? Let me know in the comments if you guys know who Genghis Khan is. Starting out on Thursday, we had news at 8:30. It was CPI news data. And I was gonna full port it on my new evals. However, I thought it was at 9:45, and I woke up at like 9:15, logging on, about to do my due diligence, setting my stop limit to my buy limits. And I look, and the fucking news already came out, so I was pissed. But yeah, we took out data highs off rip. We still had data lows intact, right about here. But I wasn't worried about that. I was bullish on the day, and I'll let you guys know why in a second. But let me just mark this out, so because that was probably some of your guys' targets as well. So starting on the daily time frame, I noticed we had previous day highs above. Okay, not really worried about this. That's for the next day. Starting on the daily, we had previous day highs above. I believe we already took out previous day low. We didn't take out previous day low, but we had an SMT there. So that also played a part into the reason why I was kind of bullish. And the reason I like to start on the daily time frames is because I literally specifically look for SMTs. I will also look for unfilled fair value gaps as well, but I love SMTs off the highs and lows of the previous day. They just add way more conviction to my buys. And then I noticed that we were inside of this giant 4-hour bearish fair value gap, and we also had another unfilled 4-hour above us right here where all these lines are. But I noticed that we weren't really disrespecting this first bearish gap. So I was like, okay, I have a condition. If we close above this at 10 a.m., cool. I can assume that we are truly bearish. And then same thing right here. We had this hourly gap. And my condition was if this 9 a.m. candle closed above it, that we were going to be bullish. So that is ultimately what I was looking for. At market open, we could have had nice shorts. We had true day open right here. And then we also had the unfilled 4-hour, which was also an unfilled hourly gap. We had this unfilled 15-minute gap right here. And then there was also an unfilled 5-minute. So I wanted to see all this LR get swept out. And then I would be okay to look for shorts. There was this beautiful fucking 1 minute. Let me get my notes out real quick. There was this beautiful 1 minute IFEG right here. But I didn't take it because we didn't fucking sweep anything out. And you could have took it to, what's it called? If your stops were up there, or maybe your stops wanted to be right here, you could have took it to this unfilled 15-minute gap, which is this black rectangle right here. But the reason, again, why I didn't take this is because we didn't take out any liquidity. We left true day open. We left unfilled hourly. We left unfilled 15-minute. We left unfilled 5-minute. And I've seen everyone on TikTok like, oh my God, this was the best short of December, this and that, this and that. I didn't really understand why. We didn't take out anything. We left relatively equal highs at our stop loss. In my opinion, yes, it looks super clean in hindsight, but if you actually zoom out and look at the liquidity to the left of us, we didn't take anything out. So let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know if you've seen something that I'm missing. Maybe your conviction was just short on the day in general, but I was really confused when I went on TikTok and seen everyone glazing the setup. I didn't think it was that good, specifically for the fact that we didn't take out any liquidity, we didn't fill any fair value gaps, whatever the case may be. But we did end up coming down and hitting this 15-minute, and when we did come down and hit this 15-minute fair value gap, we then created a 5-minute bearish gap as well. So I want to go over something real quick. I faded this 30-second short, and it was actually an A+ 30-second short. It would have been break even anyway. But we ended up coming up into this, here we go, into this 5-minute fair value gap. And this was ultimately my condition. If we could have inversed this gap to the upside, I was going to smack longs anyway. I did take one trade on this day. It was a long. It was a 5-minute version right after this 30-second short happened. And I ended up getting stopped out. But I'll go over that in a second. So back to this 30-second short, we retraced into a 5-minute gap. Yeah, we're inside of this 15-minute bullish gap, but we had a clear target lower with these data lows. So that is one thing I was looking at. I don't know if there was anything else. No, it doesn't look like there's any unfilled hourlies. And there really wasn't anything else other than those data lows. So that's why I wouldn't have entered off this 5-minute inversion alone right here. I would have waited for more confirmation with this pullback into this gap right here. We got a double 5-minute inversion with this one right here, and then also this one. But we got a pullback into this 5-minute gap for a little bit more confirmation. We started generating LR right here, and then we got a 30-second short. The short happened somewhere like right in here. Stop loss at the highs. And then you could have went and targeted these data lows right here, which was a super nice draw, and your break-even point would have been at these internal lows. And then as you guys can see, this just would have been a break-even trade. Now, this is where I went ahead and entered. We had a internal sweep right here of liquidity inside of this 15-minute gap. We came down and hit CE of this 15-minute fair value gap. And then we ended up getting a 5-minute IFVG right here. I went ahead and entered off the IFVG. I loved the targets above. We had these relatively good highs. Again, the unfilled hourly, which was also the same exact spot for an unfilled 4-hour. We had this unfilled 15-minute and this unfilled 5-minute with these LR to the left of us. So I was very, very confident that price was going to run higher, especially after getting that internal sweep, hitting C of this wick. And I don't know if we had an SMT ski. No, we didn't have a lower time from SMT, but I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't need that anyway to enter. Anyways, here is what the trade idea looked like. My stop loss was, I want to say just under, like right here. Because I assumed if we were going to continue to be bullish, these fair value gaps should hold up. So we had a 2-minute fair value gap right here that was protecting my stop loss. We had a 3-minute as well. I believe there was a giant 4-minute fair value gap that was protecting, and then we had this 1-minute. So this was a valid point to put my stop loss. And my TP, ultimately, I had multiple TPs. My first one was right here at the relative equal highs with true day open, and my internal high right here, or market open high, I guess you could say. And then my second TP was this unfilled 5-minute gap right here. I went in with 5 micros. I didn't trade on my evals, but I did take a trade on my XFAs on Top Step, which is kind of weird. I don't know why I didn't trade my evals. But yeah, as you can see, we kind of were floating in profit a little bit, and then we just ended up fucking reversing off of nothing. And then we ended up reversing off of nothing again back to the upside. So I made a fucking TikTok video about this, and I was low-key irritated I lost this trade. But the only thing that really saved me from re-entering was I was on a cruise. I didn't really want to focus on the charts again, and I told myself if I lost that second trade, I just didn't. I would have been mad at myself. I didn't even want to be in the market at all. Typically, if we have a 5-minute version like this rejecting a 15-minute for value gap, price should run higher, especially with those lower time frame bullish for value gaps protecting your stop loss. And I got manipulated out. I guess one thing I could have journaled is I could have de-risked. And where was my entry? My entry was what? Somewhere like right here. I could have de-risked and put my stop loss a little bit lower. And still had that 1-to-1 up here. So I guess I could have fixed my stop loss placement and just could have de-risked. But overall, I liked the trade idea. I liked where I put my stop loss. I liked where my TPUs were. I liked the entire trade overall. I ended up getting manipulated out. And then we were kind of chopping around. I didn't really like this 5-minute inversion back to the downside. This is what it would look like. Just because we just inverted this bullish gap right here, and again we still have all these targets. Now we have these relatively good highs along with this high right here as well. I was still pretty bullish until the this liquidity up here got hit. So as you can see, we ended up getting another 5-minute inversion. Stop loss would have went somewhere like right there, TP right here, something like this. It would have looked something like this. Coming to 3-minute, 4-minute, yeah, all this good stuff. It ended up running to my take profit right after I got stopped out. I seen that and I just closed my laptop. I was waiting for a pullback, maybe into like a 3-minute gap, because I was pretty convicted that we were gonna go higher. But this didn't even have a fucking single tick drawdown. Maybe like 1 tick. Let's see, or 4.5 points. I guess I had like 4.5 points drawdown. But beautiful setup, I guess you can say. If you were convicted, I was just pissed off that we got the internal sweep, hit CE, and then I ended up getting stopped out. So I just got off the charts. I guess you can say my emotions didn't let me enter, which is a good thing. And then we ended up just chopping around after. So not really much going on. We kind of just chopped around after the objective was hit, and then we just shit the bed out of nowhere, which there was really nothing after that. Didn't even take out this sell side right here. And yeah, that was basically the rest of the day on Thursday. So with that being said, let's jump on over to Friday. Same exact thing. I was leaning bullish, and the reason for that was because we came down and We filled this 4-hour imbalance right here. And this 4-hour candle actually didn't have a wick at the bottom. And I love these types of candles no matter what fucking time frame they are on, because typically the following candle after will come down and put that wick in. I don't care if we're on the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. This always fucking happens. So start paying attention to this. We put in the wick to this candle, okay, with the following candle. We fill this imbalance and we got a clean rejection. Here's the 4-hour. We got a clean rejection. And then we ended up continuing higher and higher and higher. Right at market open, or right before market open, we ended up coming down and hitting this 5-minute gap right here. We also hit this 5-minute gap lower as well. Filled both of these imbalances. And we had just a beautiful PDI setup. However, you guys know how I trade. I like to wait for the highest time frame inversion. And this happened right before market open. I hate trading right before market open because 9:30, literally the 9:30 1-minute candle, is just so fucking volatile. It literally, so I could have easily got manipulated out of it. After like 9:35, the market tends to, I wouldn't say die down, but not be as manipulative right as it opens. So I didn't enter. I would have entered off of this candle. I guess shoulda, coulda, woulda. Trade idea would have looked something like this. You had this, I guess it took out London highs, but you still had New York PM highs from the following day. Then you had these relatively equal highs right here. And I believe there was a couple other things right here. Like we had these highs right here, these 5-minute intermediate highs. These 5-minute intermediate highs as well, which is a crazy, crazy wick. And then we also had the previous day high from Wednesday. That was a good solid draw. Your trade idea could have looked something like this. And yeah, I was, after we got this little push up, I guess, right here at market open, I was waiting for a pullback into this 5-minute gap. And like I said, I was already bullish on the day. So even though we took out these three to the left of us, I was pretty convicted we were still going to go higher. So I wanted to see a pullback into here. And then my ultimate target was this previous day high right here, with these relatively equal highs right here. I guess you can go up a little bit. These relatively equal highs right here. And I wanted to see a pullback into this gap, and then we can continue higher, but we just didn't end up getting that. We just ended up ripping. Let's see how this ended up playing out. Yeah, we just ended up ripping, and then there was really no more targets for me to go after. We took out the previous day high, and then we were inside of this 1-hour gap. We took out the 1-hour intermediate highs. There was these highs all the way up here, but I wasn't expecting us to go there. I don't know if we ended up doing so or not. No, it looks like we just took that out, right? Like right as market open right now. But yeah, that's really all there was on Friday. Friday was pretty quick. The move happened right at market open, and then we ended up just, I guess, chopping around. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead, leave them in the comments. You want to up your allocation, use code LoeGpa on Loose Trades. Link is in the description. $78 all in for a 50K account. It's 40% off right now. Go check it out. And if you want to join the free Discord, link is in the description for that as well. I live trade in there. I have my daily bias. I have my trading schedule. All my trading videos in there. My free blueprint is in there. All the above. Go check it out. It's all for free. Don't do it for the money, and do it for the love of the game. You know what I'm saying? All right. I will catch y'all boys in the morning for our daily bias. Like I said, it'll be posted in that free Discord. So if you guys want to check it out, go do so. Link is in the description, and I'll catch y'all boys tomorrow.